What happens if a plant, indoor banana plant, is only getting coffee instead of water? Google say it's okay. But if you're concerned, just go give it some water. In the old days of the web, you would have set up a 24/7 webcam on the banana plant so the internet could follow the experiment and warn you if anyone was adding water instead of coffee. Now that's deemed too much of a security risk. Humans can live off of just coffee. No problem at all. Just don't stop giving it coffee. It could stress out and die from withdrawals. It'll become one of those obnoxious, "Don't talk to me before my third cup" type of plants. Biggest downside I can see is that it's probably not going to get enough moisture. They like to be evenly moist and only dry out a couple inches. If people are just throwing little splashes of coffee in it, it's never going to be thoroughly wetted and will eventually start to suffer. Also, if people are throwing milk in it with the coffee, I could see that getting gross. Some plants like coffee. The coffee isn't a problem. But creamer and sugar, especially artificial, could be detrimental. It's a banana, which is basically just a big grass. Those things will grow in any sort of water. You probably don't have to worry. Spelling. Coffee is acidic, so it will lower the pH of the soil. If it gets too acidic, it could cause problems. This can be corrected by adding baking soda to raise the pH. We had a poinsettia plant in our office that survived on just coffee for 3 years. One guy finally felt bad for it and took it home, repotted it with fresh posting soil, put it in the sun and gave it clean water. It died shortly after. You know, a caffeinated banana would be a very efficient breakfast. I'm sure your plant won't grow those. But now I'm imagining a breakfast self-contained in its own peel with enough caffeine that I don't even need to drink coffee. And I want this to be a thing. Seriously though, I can't imagine coffee is great for the plant. And do you guys not have a sink? Like, why are grown-ass adults dumping their coffee in a plant? The caffeine is a herbicide and pesticide. Too much may be an issue. A couple of ounces a day won't be a problem. If you're concerned, you can flush it with water. Milk and sugar are gonna attract ants. When I was growing up, one of the local restaurants had the most gorgeous plants. My mom asked one of the servers what they were doing to make them so healthy and lush. She responded, "We water them with coffee." It's a banafi plant now. My roommate watered her aloe plant with only leftover coffee, and it was the most beautiful aloe I've ever seen. My moment has come. In elementary school, I did a science experiment where I had 2 groups of plants. One I gave water. The other, I gave coffee. The results: the ones given water did better. I had friends in college that exclusively gave their plant cheap beer anytime they got drunk for like 3 years, and it was incredibly healthy. So it'll probably be fine. Lol. Should be mostly okay. Coffee grounds in limited respects can be a good addition to soil. Things to think about. 1. Remnants of caffeine will deter, continue to poison some insects that might take up residence. 2. Adding coffee raises the pH of the soil. Different plants can tolerate different soil acidity levels before it adversely affects them. Coffee is good for plants. At least the coffee ground. It's a great manure. It's also good against vermin. The problem is, here, that you use the ground for that. But coffee alone should be no problem at all. Maybe the plant can't sleep. But that should be a minor issue. There's a slight amount of nitrogen, but I don't think it would be biologically available to the plant. Minerals from the tap water used to make the coffee may appear on the surface of the leaves, but only if it's very hard water, which would cause staining on coffee pots. Make sure it's not boiling when you pour it, at least, or you'll just cook some roots. Oh, and the microorganisms in the soil will be insufferable and act like Karens to the working class. Microorganisms. I had a boss with 2 plants in her office. She'd dump the last cold coffee into the one by the door all the time. The plant lady switched them around to even out the light, I assume. So my boss still dumped her coffee in the plant by the door. The plant that was now by the window started failing, and the one that was newly by the door also started looking bad. She switched them back, and they both recovered.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.